That's a flop.
Yeah, that was a flop. That was a good move, but you got to watch out for the kid. I really like Cole Anthony.
Absolutely. He got it from his daddy. All right, let's change gears, talk about the Warriors. They take on the Kings tonight in their second preseason game. Steph Curry, 10 points in 21 minutes in the first one. Paul, what are your expectations for the former two-time MVP, again without Klay Thompson, for another season?
He's going to be great. You know, you can't underestimate greatness. But this is going to be one of his toughest seasons, I believe, because he doesn't have his running mate backcourt guy. He's going to see more defensive schemes thrown at him that he didn't have before because you couldn't. You know, when you had Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant, you couldn't trap this guy off pick and rolls. You couldn't switch as much. And now he's going to see defenses that can zoom in on him a little bit better now. So it's going to be a tough year for him, but I still expect him to have big numbers.
Yeah, Rachel, I agree. It's not going to be as tough as it was last year, Paul. That's the good news.
Right.
It's a little, the roster is a little better. They got him some better supporting cast, but it's still kind of the thing that people don't talk about enough, which was that the Warriors had such a great supporting cast around Steph before, and now it's a lot of young guys and a lot of guys who haven't won a lot. But we look at the tape right here. You watch Klay's going to go set a pin down screen for Steph, and right here, you see Jerome Robinson switches out. He's denying the pass. As he comes out, they should trap him right here. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is so worried about Klay that he runs after him. We don't even see Steph, thus leading the layup. That's the power of Klay Thompson. Not just a great shooter, but a guy who knows how to move off the ball. This is another version of this. Again, Klay with the split cut screen there. The defender can't get over. The other defender doesn't help. Steph hits shots. Now, look at the opposite here. This is without Klay. Look how many Clipper defenders there are looking at him. D'Angelo Russell, and I believe that's Jacob Moore over there in the corner. They don't move. What Klay does so well is he moves. It's not just being a great shooter. Moving makes it so that the defenders can't zero in and lock in on you. Same thing coming down here. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kyle Lowry on the weak side. He's not even hugged up on his man. They're all guarding Steph. Meanwhile, Wiggins, the screener, they're just hanging around. The more you stand still around Steph Curry, the harder it is for him to get the space to create the shot, to create the havoc. The Warriors' offense is all built on people moving at all times. And to be honest with you, that was something they had a problem with Kevin Durant towards the end. He just liked to stand still because he didn't want to do all that moving anymore, and that makes the offense grind.
And, I mean, it's another layer, too, on top of all of that clips in those video. It's the physicality people have against Steph. I certainly remember, right, in the 2016 finals, one of the things the Cavs did is they went and physically beat Steph up. How much more of that do we expect without Klay there?
I mean, again, he's the one target of all this, and this all depends on what everybody else does. Whether Kelly Oubre or a Wiggins or a Wiseman, can these guys bring something to the table that allows Steph the freedom of movement? Because the whole thing is when everyone's moving, everyone's a threat. Every cut is a live cut. When we're playing that way, it makes it a lot harder to zero in on any one guy.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting. If anyone's up for it, it's Steph Curry, but we will have to see. Thanks, Amin, for that. Coming up next, I'm just going to move on because we have so much in this show, and I can see both of you are going to get me into trouble.
Oh, my goodness.
Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. I'm alongside our front office insider, Amin Al-Hassan, our NBA Finals MVP, Paul Pierce. Ric Flair is dropping by the show in a little bit, guys. So if you want to see me turn into a starstruck kid, can stick around for that. Also coming up, Amin is going to break down what life will be like for Steph without Klay this season. And Paul will tell us his realistic expectations for the two-time MVP. First, though, we begin with breaking news coming out of Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo is signing the Supermax extension with the Bucks. His agent, Northwestern's own Alex Saratzis, told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski that it will be for the full 5-year, $228 million, including an opt-out after the 4th year. And here's Giannis himself on Twitter and Instagram saying, "This is my home. This is my city. I am blessed to be a part of the Milwaukee Bucks for the next 5 years. Let's make these years count. The show goes on. Let's get it." I now welcome in ESPN's NBA reporter Malika Andrews to the show. Malika, what motivated Giannis to sign this extension now and not wait until after the season when the same deal would have been on the table for him?
Well, Rachel, this is a place, you heard him in his Instagram post, Milwaukee is home. And so as he's weighing this decision, you have to remember that hanging over him the entire time is just how much he cares about this franchise and this city. And so we know that he was weighing the potential to win in Milwaukee with what he loves, the city, his family, and can all of that gel? And at the end of the day, Giannis is sitting there and decides, you know what, I'm going to put all of these three things that are the most important to me on one side of the scale, give them my signature. That is a vote of confidence, a vote of faith that he believes not only in the warm, feel-good story of Giannis coming to Milwaukee, drinking a smoothie for the first time and getting a taste of the American dream, but also that he genuinely feels that this is a place that he would like to invest in as a place that he can win a championship, because that is his ultimate goal.
Yeah, and you have to think him signing it now says something about what the Bucks have done for the past month, and it's been quite a ride, right? The Bucks make the Drew Holiday deal in an obvious effort to show Giannis how serious they are about winning. They try to make the deal for Bogdan Bogdanovic. That gets bungled. Giannis comes back to Milwaukee from Greece, doesn't sign right away. His teammates all give him pens for his birthday. He still doesn't sign. And now finally today we get the announcement. How nervous was ownership and the front office specifically about whether this would happen or not?
You know, I think that ownership in the front office, from the folks that I've been talking to, they've been in constant communication with Giannis and with Alex Saratsas, making it very clear of what their intentions were. The offer was always on the table. And sure, as they marched towards this deadline, this date of the 21st, there were nerves that creeped up. But really, from the folks that I've been talking to, it was the coaching staff, his teammates, that were starting to wonder, hey, what is the season going to look like? Not whether or not Giannis is going to necessarily be here for the next 5 years, but how is it going to look for us right now this season? I got one text from someone within the organization after he signed that was just a gif of someone looking incredibly relieved, wiping sweat off of their face. So obviously it's a joyous day in Milwaukee, but yes, this is a team that really wanted to keep their superstar, and the closer they got to that deadline, the more the nerves were kind of bubbling up inside them.
Well, they can all relax today, Malika. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And I'm now going to welcome Amin and Paul back in. We're going to break down just expectations for Giannis's play now that he's set to become the highest paid player in the NBA. And Paul, you're Finals MVP. You have carried the weight of an entire organization on your shoulders. There were years in Boston, it was you.
Yeah,
what are your
absolutely.
expectations for Giannis? Because no matter who they put around him, it's Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's going to continue to be dominant. And what this tells me when he signs this deal is when you look at this generation superstars, when you look at LeBron and KD, how they went about getting their championships, he wants his legacy to be built on his back, not going somewhere else. He said, we want to bring the players to Milwaukee. I don't want to have to go anywhere else. And that's a sign of an old school player mentality, because when I hear him speak in his interviews, he doesn't go work out with the other superstars. You know, he doesn't want to be friends with them. He's engulfed himself right here in Milwaukee. And he says, listen, I'm going to build my legacy right here. I don't care what anybody else says. All the rumors about going to Toronto, Miami, Golden State. No, we're going to do it right here in Milwaukee. And you got 228 million reasons why you want to stay also. So that's a pretty good reason also.
Amen. That money, woo, that's a lot of heroes right there. But Rachel, you know what today is? I know a lot of people are going to say this is a triumph for small market teams. Look, they can actually do it. They can keep their stars. I'm here to say no. This is a day of triumph for teams that are well run. You pointed out, Rachel, when you're talking to Malika right there. This is a team that has made a bunch of moves, not just this year, over the last 2 or 3 years, to put themselves in this position, to be a perennial contender. Well-owned, well-managed, well-coached. Does that mean they're perfect? No. Everyone's got room for improvement, and we know what Milwaukee's is. We talked about it ad nauseum for months, it seems. But the reality is, this is a very well-run organization, and players want to be somewhere that feel like you are taking care of my legacy. Not taking care of me by giving me treats and treating my family nice. Taking care of my legacy. Am I going to be remembered as one of the greats or as a failure? Are you doing everything to remind everybody how great I am? And that means putting together the right situation around me so that we can win some championships. And I think Milwaukee has done that. Congratulations to the Bucks organization.
I'm so glad you said that, because this is not a referendum, by the way, on small markets. It is not also a referendum on the Supermax. The Supermax is a bribe. And Giannis did not sign this deal because he wanted extra money. I know, Paul, I agree with you. Hey, $228 million is fantastic to have in the bank account. But anyone who has spent time around Giannis knows that is not what makes him